Today on the show, we've got Deus Ex 2, The Invisible War, Legacy of Kain, Defiance, Roadkill, and in Versus, it's Gladius against Gladiator Sword of Vengeance. All right, the first game we're going to talk about is Deus Ex 2, The Invisible War. This one is from Ion Storm and Eidos. We looked at it on the Xbox, but it's also available for the PC.
The interesting thing about this one is it was being developed on the Xbox and the PC at the same time. You know, some of the old console ones on the PlayStation 2 were because they were done on the PC first.
And then ported over.
So this one was actually done for the console, and you can tell.
It's a lot more simplified than the original Deus Ex was. The whole interface is very consoleized. I did have some problems, though, with the way that they set all of this stuff up. It's more like an RPG than anything, and what you're doing is going through these amazingly cool environments, and you're talking to people, and there's all kinds of great gadgets that you come in contact with and you want to collect, but you only have a set amount of slots in your inventory screen, and you're constantly picking up stuff, and then you've run out of room, so you have to throw it down, so you see all these guns scattered all over the place. You want them all.
It's real, you know.
Well, it's real, but it's a bit of a drag that they give you all of the stuff that you can interact with, and you can't take it with you.
I mean, if you had a bunch of guns you're carrying around like this, then
might be a little heavy.
To shoot anybody.
Might be a little heavy, I agree.
Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. You play a game like Rainbow Six, another first-person shooter.
Right.
They're going towards realism, whereas this seems like it's, I don't want to say it's cartoony because it's not, but people's faces, they're
pretty blank. Great impression.
But what I liked is everything in the environments were pretty much either collectible or movable.
It uses the Havoc's physics engine, so it actually has some pretty incredible 3D physics modeling in there, but everything you come into contact with, you bump and push over. It's a little ultra sensitive.
This is an M-rated game.
Yes.
So you can like plug her in the head or something. She'll fall on the ground and you can start shooting her around the joint.
The Order, which is this new kind of religious organization, have the followers and they wear religious kind of wardrobe and stuff like that. And then
you're going to be telling them the story?
A little bit.
Okay.
Okay, you coming back?
Yeah.
Okay, are you
I'll be here.
And they're sort of talking with, wait a sec, you falling asleep on me?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. And then you have this scientific group, and basically it's religion versus science. It takes place in a futuristic Seattle after this giant plague has wiped out Chicago. There's all kinds of interpersonal struggles. You're being pulled in a bunch of different ways. You don't know. Oh no, I still got more. You can actually choose to play the game any way that you want and make allies with any people that you want. That's the best thing about this game.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't you agree? Is the depth in the story and how much mystery is unraveled as you're playing through the game.
Whatever you said, I disagree with.
The lighting is good, but it's not Splinter Cell good. And the frame rate had some issues. It felt a little bit choppy and sluggish.
And that's the thing. If you're going to sacrifice graphics, you would think it's because they could get the frame rate up.
Right.
But it didn't have that either.
But then about an hour into it, after you've committed some time to sort of talking to people and discovering some of the mystery, you forget all about the technical problems and you get hooked.
Another great part of this game, actually, that Evan spoke about, is the element of sound.
Yes,
the
audio is fantastic.
Is really good. Probably, to me, one of the best parts of the game, I thought.
And of course, one of the coolest things about the Deus Ex universe is that you can biomod yourself. I am going to give it a 9 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 7.5.
On the positive side, this game features a very deep and addictive story. You can interact with almost everything you see in the game. And although it is a deep RPG-style game, there is some great action in this one as well.
On the negative side, the graphics don't seem to be as polished as other games in this genre. The frame rate and controls seem to be a little slow, and the physics on some of the objects seem to be a little too touchy.
All right, now we're going to move from the sci-fi universe of Deus Ex and talk about a horror-themed game that's set in sort of a medieval vampire world. This is Legacy of Kain, Defiance, which is also from Eidos. It's for the Xbox or PlayStation 2.
Has Kain always been a vampire?
Kain has always been a vampire, and the story of Kain is actually, it's a great story, and it took place... Ready? Okay. It took place in the PlayStation 1's Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, which you guys should all go check out. I'm going to have to do that in a buried treasure. It's an awesome game. Hold on a second. Okay, and What did you think of that? What do you think of that story, huh?
I can sum it up in one sentence.
All right, what's that?
Complete ripoff of Devil May Cry.
It has a look and feel of like an action-adventure game like Eco or even Prince of Persia.
Doesn't the dude look exactly like Dante, though?
Yes.
I mean, the hair and even the red scar. Come on.
I mean, he's a cool-looking guy. I love that they have claws and they can climb up walls
If you're
and stuff.
going to rip off the gameplay, at least make the character look a little different, huh? Come on.
I do believe, sir, that
Yes.
Kain was around before Dante was.
Yeah,
We can
well,
check the
where's
fact book on that.
No, I know I know
right.
that is true.
This is the thing. You don't only get Kain. You actually get to play as Raziel, the Soul Reaver, and Kain, the vampire. They're on a destined path to meet and fight with each other, and you get to play as both sides of the story as they're working their way through the game.
Here's the thing, though. The gameplay itself is exactly like Devil May Cry in that the camera angles, you know, are kind of a little touchy. Not as bad. There's a lot worse games out
Yes,
there. The camera angles
you do have
aren't
some
bad.
control of the camera.
It does get a little weird at times,
Yes.
but that's fine.
And the control's a little bit touchy. It's not always easy to make those jumps. But I love the combat in this game.
Well, what I liked about this game is that you can actually suck the lifeblood
Yes.
out of people, and that's kind of how you
love it.
got your energy. So there'll be this
Lots of
like,
sucking
you know,
in this show so far.
half-naked woman like chained up against a wall, which is always nice to see.
Help me! Help me! Oh, please, no.
From time to time, it is necessary to feed.
Lunch! I thought the effects were amazing. I mean, you know, you go up to those steel grates and
Oh,
they kind of
love
like
that.
disappears and
So
walks
nice.
right through them.
This Raziel, you're actually sucking in their souls. Your mouth opens up and you see the creatures, the little blue souls, are screaming and crying for their life, and you're
Can't touch water?
as the vampire.
Yeah.
But as Raziel, you can swim,
Well,
and
hold
it's
on.
a great.
Vampires can do water. They just can't deal with holy water.
Well, in this game, if Kain jumps into the water,
Check your facts.
he turns into a bunch of bats.
What I found a little frustrating, though, was the fact that I didn't really know where to go
Right.
and what to do a lot of the times. And,
Right.
and especially like some walls you can climb up, but others you couldn't.
I was really impressed by the graphics of this game. I'm giving it 9 out of 10
Wow.
as well.
Another
Great
9,
game.
7.5 for me.
On the positive side, the atmosphere in this game is unbelievable. Great graphics and incredible audio. The combat in this game is fantastic. Great combo attacks, really cool special effects. But the best part about Legacy of Kain Defiance is the fact that you can play as both Kain and Raziel.
On the negative side, some of the camera angles are a little too touchy. It's sometimes hard to get accurate attacks and jumps because of the touchy controls. And I thought it was difficult to figure out where the hell you were supposed to be going and what you were supposed to be doing.
Man, I've already given away 2 9s. Wonder what we're going to give Roadkill. It's coming up next.
I'm getting something in from the Mars roving unit.
Hey, cool.
It's coming in. Wait. It's...
Oh,
My God, man!
what is that? Is that a Martian?
Ugh.
Oh.
Give me that! Dummy. Hey, I'm talking about Star Wars, Flight of the Falcon for the Game Boy Advance. Now, I gotta tell you, this is one that almost tried to slip by the cracks on us. This is a great game. You pilot the Millennium Falcon, right? And it goes through the first 3 movies with the Falcon. Well, the real first movies, you know what I'm saying? But not only do you get to pilot the Millennium Falcon, you also get to do some kind of like other vehicles as well. Like in the first movie, you get to ride on the land speeder through Tatooine, and that's really neat. You get to fly the Falcon through Cloud City from the second movie. Now, the one bad thing about the game is that they have the whole password system, right? Now, when you're playing your Game Boy Advance, wherever you may be, taking a dump upside down, whatever you're doing, you don't have a pen. Do you have a pen? Do you have a pen handy? No. Amazing game, fun stuff, challenging stuff, high production quality, great graphics, great audio, great story. Of course, I'm giving it a 9.5.
All right, we're back, and we're going to stick with this future theme, but we're going to move into this post-apocalyptic future for a game called Roadkill. It's from Midway. What did you think of Roadkill?
I mean, it looks like a first-generation PlayStation 2 game or something, you know what I mean?
It ain't pretty. This is Grand Theft Auto meets Twisted Metal.
Well, wait, it's Grand Theft Auto, but you can never get out of the car.
Right, it's Twisted Metal in the Grand Theft Auto world. You're basically driving around in cars that can shoot at each other. And what's so funny about this game is that they ripped off Grand Theft Auto so much, even the menu screens and the pause screens, those look the same.
The lead character's voice sounds exactly like Ray Liotta.
Right, and you've got all the radio stations. I actually like the radio stations in Roadkill.
Don't fear the Reaper.
They have all this 70s, you know, rock and roll.
The best part for me is when you hit somebody in
Right.
your vehicle,
Right.
you can drag them along.
They hang on for their dear life.
Or you drag them along in their bumper. Now, I thought one of the big problems in the game was the whole kind of map system.
Right.
Like, you might have something that looks like it's right next to you on the map, but it's all blocked.
And the way that the game breaks down is there's a bunch of different gangs. You're in this post-plague city, this environment. You know, everything is decrepit and falling apart, and all of these gangs are sort of fighting for power. And basically, you work your way up through the gangs, beating up different gang members until you fight the boss at the end of everything.
Now, I'll tell you what, if you just go around and start shooting at other cars, they'll actually get angry at you and start shooting back, and they're actually really difficult.
And if too much chaos is happening, you'll go into riot mode, and the only way that you can sort of calm everybody down is to run over a floating peace symbol. You can do all kinds of crazy, insane jumps and stunts, just like in Grand Theft Auto.
It just didn't have that polish. I don't know if it was the graphics or it seemed like maybe some of the things that they cut corners in the graphic area, and it just didn't do it for me.
I'll tell you what my problem was. I thought that there was fun to be had in this game, but I felt like the missions and the structure of the game, it was so repetitive. I mean, basically what you were doing is you're either delivering packages, you're chasing a guy to go kill him, you're
racing against the clock, which is impossible.
You're picking up different things that are falling off of a truck. It just wasn't the same amount of variety that you would get in a Grand Theft Auto, where you can hop out of the car and go into sniper mode.
Right. When I play a game and see that it's a complete blatant rip-off of something else, it cheapens it for me, and it detracts from the game.
It's trying to borrow so much, but it doesn't bring anything really that innovative to the table.
Right.
There are some stuff.
And less, in fact, because you can't even get out of your car.
Yeah, and then the visuals aren't there, and the audio and the radio stuff. I mean, it's pretty good, but it's not as good as Vice City. You know, it's not as innovative as what the guys at Grand Theft have been doing. But, you know, I still had some fun. It wasn't a horrible game.
Yeah.
You know, if you've beat Vice City, if you've already played Twisted Metal to death, you want to try something in that vein, you know, I think you should check out Roadkill. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
That's exactly what I gave it as well, 7. On the positive side, they have some really funny elements in this game. I love being able to shoot and drive. The best thing is you get to hit people with your car and drag them all over the city.
On the negative side, the graphics in this game are very disappointing. It's very much a blatant rip-off of Grand Theft Auto. And even though there's some fun to be had in this game, the level of innovation is nowhere near what we'd expect. We've got something a little bit different for you guys in hardware today. We're going to talk about a monitor. This is called the BFM V9000.
That stands for Big Monitor.
That's right. From Elite Interactive. What did you think of this one?
What's cool is that when you first take it out, it's so slim and tiny. And
it looks cool.
And it has a little stand.
Yes.
It's like, you know, wow, this might be something really sweet. Well, there's 3 video inputs, you know, and you have S-video.
Yes.
One has the, you know, the RCA.
Game cable thing, or the RCA. That's
and then one of them has the game cable one. But I was disappointed to see that there was no component.
Right.
Or DVI would have been nice.
But I think that translates when you actually see the quality of the image on the screen, which I think is the biggest disappointment about this whole deal.
The contrast seems to be a little high.
And it's blurry. It's like everything's sort of a little bit out of focus.
It's $350. If I'm spending $350, I'd rather just get a
regular
big
TV, yeah.
The other thing I liked about it was that it actually had speakers that kind of, you know, just plugged onto the back. You didn't even need cables. They just kind of connected. So I went in and I was trying to adjust a lot of the brightness and contrast levels to kind of maybe tweak it out a little bit. 9, okay, I can barely hear it. 10, okay. 11, bah! It's like really big. It's like, what happened there?
I cannot recommend the BFM 9000.
Nor I. On the positive side, the design and layout is actually really nice looking. It comes with detachable side speakers, and it comes with its own game cable, so you can hook up multiple platforms.
On the negative side, we wish there were some better kinds of video inputs like component or DVI, but our biggest complaint about the BFM 9000 is the visual quality of the image. All right, stick around, you guys. We're coming right back with a look at a couple of Gladiator games. Oh, hey, you guys caught me here. I should be working. I'm at work right now. But I found a game that's a great time killer. This one's called CT Special Forces Back to Hell. And basically, it's a 2D scrolling shooter. You play a little soldier and you're running along and you pick up machine guns and handguns and grenades and rocket launchers and that kind of stuff. The thing that makes this game so special, though, is that that's not the only gameplay that you'll find in here. You'll also be able to jump into tanks. You can pilot a helicopter. You can parachute. You can go into sniper mode. It's really quite clever. You play as Raptor, who's the sort of militia guy. He'll run in and take care of all the bad guys on foot. The only real problem that I found with the game is that it doesn't have a battery. It's all passwords. I love the art style. It's very cartoony. The sound effects are very cool. This is a great cartridge. Very impressed with CT Special Forces Back to Hell. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Go check it out.
All right, now I'm a sucker for these games. This is ESPN International Track and Field. Now, these are these games where you're basically like, and you make really funny faces and watch your friends play and make fun of them when they're trying to, button mash the thing. It's got weightlifting, swimming. So you got all the track and field normal sports like, the long jump and the pole vault. But it even got some cool summer stuff like shooting, which is really challenging. Now, the other great thing is this game uses motion capture from Maurice Green and this other guy. What's Ato Bolden? Who's that? The other cool thing is it's ESPN, so you got the whole kind of ESPN TV sports commentator views and replays, and, it really gives you a sense like you're watching ESPN. Tons and tons of great motion capture. They even have the javelin, which is always fun to try to throw into the crowds and spear people, but you can't do that in this game. Anyway, ESPN International Track and Field. If you're into the button twitchers like me, you're going to love this one.
We've got a cool versus for you guys today. We're talking about two Gladiator games. The first one is Gladius. It's from LucasArts for all three of the big consoles out there. And the other one is Gladiator Sword of Vengeance from Acclaim. It's for the Xbox and PlayStation 2. What do you think of the gameplay for these two titles?
Victor,
Yeah?
you like movies about gladiators?
Yeah, I like Gladiator.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Let's talk about the gameplay.
Well, first off, I think it's important to say that these are two completely different genre
Yes.
types of games. So
Yes, absolutely.
really the only thing they have in common is that they're gladiator games.
Right.
I'd like to go on record as saying, for all you fanboys out there, that Gladius is a turn-based role-playing game.
Right.
And I liked it. So now Gladiator was a really fun, fast action, more arcade-style game. Kind of remind me a little bit of Smash TV. Both these games are completely gory and violent.
Gladiator, to me, felt a lot more like Rygar, the Legendary Adventure, or a little of
But
Devil
with a
May
lot more
Cry.
enemies, though.
But it has all of this ancient Roman mythology mixed into it. At first, it feels like you're just going to be in all these gladiator-type arenas and combating that way.
But then it gets into this other thing where
big,
it turns
drawn-out
into an
story.
adventure and stuff.
You're
which is
battling
cool.
with gods, and you're beating up
Right.
on cyclopses and all these different skeletal creatures and things like that. Gladius, on the other hand, is a turn-based game. It's not unlike the Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, where you have a bunch of different characters and you can move them like 5 or 6 different positions, and then
It's
and
more
then,
of a strategy.
Yes.
It's definitely all about strategy and positioning, and
Yep.
you kind of have to think as well. You have
have
to
a
think
swing
where to
meter,
position.
so it's
I
not
like that.
it's not just a roll the dice type of situation. You actually
Right.
have to time your hit. It's almost like the Tiger Woods golf swing or something
Exactly.
like that. And then you can slash a
Which
bad
I love.
guy.
I love that element, but I also like the fact that the whole storyline is that you're two guys and you're starting a gladiator school and you have to kind of go around. There's a big training mode.
Yes.
And then you kind of go off on your adventure, and
Yeah, I mean, I just found there was too much to read in Gladius. There's just...
You hear that one? That's a first. Too much to read for this guy?
We're talking gladiators with big swords and big weapons. I want to see hack and slash. I got that out of Gladiator Sword of Vengeance. I enjoyed the gameplay in that one more.
I give Gladiator, you know, a little edge on gameplay. I thought it was more fun to play.
Okay, now let's talk about the visuals, the graphics in both of these games. What did you think?
I think Gladiator has it won here as well, just because there's so many more effects. You can see the wind and the breeze through the grass, and there's, you know, cool... you know, effects and animations.
The water lapping up on the beach. That was a nice thing. I liked the skeleton creatures, looked cool.
Gladius was good.
You know what I loved in Gladius were all the storytelling bits where they had these like paintings that the camera moved across, and they'd have animated thunderstorms and things. It just doesn't come close to the overall style and panache that I found in Gladiator. I like the visuals in Gladiator a lot more.
My name is Valens, and I only wish to know if the lady has been injured.
I am unharmed, Valens.
What did you think of the audio for these two titles?
I gotta say it's about dead even here because the music and the voices in both games are absolutely phenomenal. I mean, we got live orchestral stuff going on.
I agree with you. It's pretty hard to have a beef with the audio for either game. They both represent the genre of Gladiator experiences very well.
I think it's a tie for audio for me.
Okay, now overall, which of these two Gladiator games did you have more fun with?
I would actually give them both the same, although I like Gladiator as a better game. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give them both an 8.
I'm going to give Gladius a 7 out of 10, and I'm giving Gladiator Sword of Vengeance an 8 out of 10. Well, it's kind of hard to compare these two games because they're so different, but Tommy and I both had more fun playing Gladiator Sword of Vengeance.
Both good games, though.
Today on the show, we took a look at Deus Ex 2, The Invisible War for the Xbox, but it's also available for PC. This is an action-packed, intelligent first-person shooter with RPG elements that we like very much, but the frame rate is a little bit chunky. Also on the Xbox, but available for the PlayStation 2, was Legacy of Kain Defiance. You can play as two very cool characters in this great-looking game, but the cameras and the controls are a little bit touchy. On the PlayStation 2, but also available for the Xbox, we looked at Roadkill. There's some fun to be had in this one, but this game is a blatant ripoff of Grand Theft Auto and Twisted Metal, and it's not as good as either of those games. In Versus, we looked at two Gladiator games. It was Gladius from LucasArts, which is a turn-based strategy game that's a little bit on the slow side, against Gladiator Sword of Vengeance, which is a hack-and-slash action-adventure game. Now, both are good games, but we had a little more fun with Gladiator Sword of Vengeance. In hardware, we looked at the BFM 9000. Now, this is a cool-looking device, but the most important part, the picture quality, was just not that great. On the Game Boy Advance, Tommy reviewed Star Wars Flight of the Falcon. Tommy loved this game, and he was very impressed by all of the Star Wars sound effects. Well, that's the end of the show. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time. How come you're never here when I'm doing these things? What do you, don't press anything. Don't press anything.
I like putting in the ball budge.
Right. The ball.
I like putting in the ball I like putting in the ball bulge.
What?
The ball bulge. That was the. You can upgrade your crotch area.
Right. Just like in real life. That's good. Did you find some fruit on the ground, or what did you do?
This is an M-rated show, remember? So we can definitely go it.
All right. Okay.
And ball bulge.
Ball bulge.
That's hard to say. Say that 10 times back.
I don't think I should.
No, try it.
No,
Come on.
I don't really want to.
Ball bulge, ball bulge, ball
Why are you
bulge,
so
ball
obsessed
bulge,
with
ball
this
bulge,
phrase?
ball bulge.